parking, I'm going to put one, you know, it says usually garage, right? And then one car is the way the lingo typically goes in the system. Sewer, municipal, and guys, if you're in an area that has septic, your house, today's on market again, we don't know, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you're in an area where you've got, you know, your house happens to be on septic, but everything else is on municipal, and you can't find other comps, you're going to have to use septic, but you're going to have to make an adjustment for it, because that's not, people really don't want that. Even though they're the same exact house, septic it's maintenance, it's costly, okay? Again, outskirts, we run into those in Stony Point, we run into them along the river, we run into them in Sloatsburg, and areas like that, still having some septic systems, but it's not very common in Rockland County, okay? Same thing with wells. A lot of people think well is a bad thing. I don't even make an adjustment for wells anymore. I wish I had well water. You know, you just check it every year or two or whatever, but you talk about a big expense that you don't have to pay. I mean, Suez has gotten crazy, especially in the summertime. So these custom fields down here, we finished all the stuff about the house. Now we can add custom fields, and once again, I can do it over there better. Save custom fields as default. So you have 5 lines here that you can put your own custom fields in, and then again set as default like I do. So those are my defaults. I can change them anytime I want, but an appraiser has all these fields, and we don't. For some reason, the MLS doesn't pull these when we do the CMA manager. It doesn't even pull central air, which it makes me crazy that it doesn't pull it. But so here, I shouldn't say that. It pulls central air. It doesn't pull fireplaces. Even though we do put in fireplaces, it does not pull it in the CMA manager. I don't know why. So my custom fields are location, updates, fireplaces, deck, patio, porch, I lump into one because I don't have any more room, all right? And then in-ground pool and generator, all right?
So I don't see just location, I see location description. Is that the same thing, like for me, when I want to add it to mine?
Oh, will you type this in now?
I didn't do that.
Just hit OK.
Oh,
Just hit OK. Yeah, it should be. There you go. It's in. Okay. Sometimes you might have to even add other things alongside them and lump things in, like I did here. This has in-ground pool generator. Let's just say I don't have any comps at all for an in-ground pool or a generator. I can wipe that out and then maybe put on that line adjustment the sales, okay, the market conditions. Okay, you can put a market, you can just, I can just take this just like this, guys. It's very, very easy. You just knock it out. And you can either put market conditions or I can put sold price adjustment. So if I was doing, and hit OK, and now you'll see that it was changed, right? So if I have under contracts in my report, and I found out from the agent that it sold for $12,000 less than what the list price was on that house, naturally it's only going to show up under contract, and it's going to do all of the pricing off of the list price, not off the sales price. Am I going too fast? A little bit. Okay. So I had a feeling I was. So all the adjustments when we do these are all based on the selling price of the comps, because the MLS is pulling it over and it's all being calculated off the closed price. In an under contract, it's going to be making the adjustments off of the list price because it doesn't know what the sold price is. Okay, so that is where we would make the adjustment. All right, we would put the minus $12,000 there if we found out it sold for $12,000 less than the list price. Okay.
And how are you determining market conditions?
That you research. That's research. That's, you know, the monthly meetings. They tell you what the things have gone up and down or whatever, but you can find them out on Matrix. So if the market's up 2% or whatever, or down 2%, you can do that.
2% here and figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So those are the fields that we're using, and then we jump. Okay. Save. All right. I went over there, and it says saved at the time. So we're good. We're not going to lose any of that. Please do, after you put the subject in, you don't want to be typing all that junk in all over again. Okay?
Oh,
it should. All right, next thing is cover. If you do have a picture of the outside of the house, if you snapped it or drove by it another day or whatever, upload the cover. It does look nice on the first page if you have a picture of the exterior of the house. Okay, now see how it grabbed here because I put in, when I added the contact, I did the extra, I dropped it down and I put the person's address in, so it grabbed all the information there. And if you have their phone number, you can add it as well. I didn't in that drop down. If you don't do it back in the beginning of the contact, you can always just add it here. Okay, you can add the address and everything right here, and you want that filled out because it comes out on the first page. Okay, so you can either have it in your contact as it's saved, or you can just put it in here when the time comes to do the CMA report.
Excuse me, Lynn, it only gives you that number, those 5 things?
What 5 things?
Under custom fields?
That's all it gives you. That's why I said sometimes you're going to have more things, and you're going to have to, just like I did, deck, patio, porch. All right, you're going to have to lump them into the same line.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, an appraiser gets all of them. They have their, you've seen 21 pages, however long they are now, 35 pages. They have a lot more than we do, all right, to adjust for. That's why you have to lump them up. All right, now the comparables, we go to the next tab, and those are the comparables that we had chosen originally, and now we're going to start doing the adjustments, guys. All right, I'm going to check mark off that I want them. If I decide I don't want them, I can add, I can remove. You can do whatever you want here. And if I don't like maybe the, if I go through all this work and I got the 5 all adjusted and I see one is just like really out of the playing field, it's just screwing up the whole report. All right, I'll just go back to this list here and I'll remove it. And it will be out of my report now. Because again, I've got 5 of them. I'm okay. I only need 3, I've got 5. But if I see one, and it's happened to me before, where one has really just skewed the value, sometimes it works in your benefit, but sometimes it doesn't, okay? But if it's that, and a lot of times it's location or condition that make that happen, you can just remove it. You can just go back to comparables and remove it, okay? All right, now here we go. See, there's no map we can't see. Now we go to adjustments. And here comes the fun. Okay.
I'm sorry, because I've lost mine. I have to pull it back open. You were at comparables. You kept them all checked, right?
Yeah, I checked them all, exactly. And now I'm moving over to the next tab, which is adjustments.
When you checked them all, did you hit add to cart, or did you just...
No. Just check them all. You don't have to do anything.
Check them all and just literally...
Just go to adjustments.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you. Sorry
that's it.
about that.
Nope, no problem. There's 2 ways of doing the adjustments here, okay? I don't use this particular way. This is where you do all of the comps here. You do all of the categories at the same time. So you're doing the bedrooms all for each house at the same time, the bathrooms for the house at the same time, the full baths, and if you hit this arrow, it just goes to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Okay? So you can do each house's category at the same time. I am not going to do it this way because my brain doesn't work this way. I do one house at a time in full. So if you go up here to view in detail mode, I do it the way that they're actually going to see it in the report, and I focus on one house at a time. Because especially when you get into condition and that, you want to be just looking at, you don't want to be looking at 5 houses and trying to figure it all out. That's me anyway. So here we go, side by side. If you had loaded a picture, it would now be here, okay, for subject property. So bedrooms 4, bathrooms total. We're not going to worry about bathrooms total. We go into right away baths full and baths half. All right, I don't care what the overall bathroom count is. I care about how many full baths you have and how many half baths you have. By the way, bedrooms total, we do not adjust for bedrooms. Okay? I know it'll surprise you. Sometimes I do just to fudge things, but in general, you are only going to be adjusting for square footage. How a person broke up their house, whether it was 3 big bedrooms or 4 smaller ones, all right, that's their business. It's not going to, we can't double dip is what it comes down to. You're double dipping. All right, so we're not going to adjust for bedrooms. Now, if you had a 2-bedroom house and you can't find any other 2-bedroom houses, which will be a problem, you will run into a time where you're going to have a 2-bedroom house and you can't find any 2-bedroom houses that have closed in the last 6 months or in the last year. and you have to use 3 bedrooms, all right? Then you can adjust for a bedroom, because basically what they call a 2-bedroom is a functionally obsolescent house. Harder to sell, all right? So it will affect, it will not just affect square footage, it will affect the value of that house. But that's really the only time you're going to be adjusting for bedrooms, okay? Say okay, say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
And the reason for that is just 2 bedrooms are just so small, are they?
Yeah, 2 bedrooms are just,
No one wants them.
you're not gonna find, yeah, you just, yeah, and they are gonna be, they're just gonna be worthless. They're just gonna be, worth less, so. Functional obsolescence is what they call it, okay?
Your house in Cedar is in Japan?
Okay? Alrighty, and you can always just, you guys, if you forget something, you can just jump back and forth to these tabs at any time. Alright, just remember to keep saving, okay? I'm gonna hit it again, just keep saving, okay? And then you can jump around and do whatever you want. Alright, so here, we have 2 full baths, right? They both have 2 full baths. The subject does, the comparable does. But the subject has an extra half a bath. The comparable doesn't. So, take your cheat sheets out.
Would you have next one?
Did anyone else note that?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so if you look at the little cheat sheet I gave you, and remember I told you, these are just estimated numbers, these don't come out of a book that an appraiser gives me. All right, you're gonna see on there that a full bath is worth 6,000 and a half a bath is worth 3,000, right? You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, if the subject property is better than the comparable property, we add it to the comparable property's price. Because it would have sold for more if it had the extra bath, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we add it. If the subject property is worse than the comparable, we minus it, okay? Because the comparable property would have sold for less. So this is all a plus and minus. This is the work, all right? This goes fast. It's quite honestly, when you do a CMA, it's all the backhand work that takes the time, getting the comparables, typing everything in, doing all that. But once you pick out your houses, now doing these numbers, you're gonna be able to go like that, okay, house by house. All right, the tedious part is basically done. Now it's the numbers game, and this is where you're gonna derive your price. So, in this particular case, then, my subject has an extra half a bath, and the comparable doesn't. What do I do with that $3,000? Do I add it or do I minus it?
Yeah.
Minus.
Minus.
Say that again?
Ed,
Okay.
raise the price.
I'm getting 2 adds, I'm getting a minus.
So this is going to be
Okay,
what?
the comparable is the subject is better than the comparable.
So we
You're
add
gonna add it.
it. Add
the price of the comparable.
100%.
I think
Yeah.
taking
I'm
it
going
as
all in
a
on
like-
that.
Oh boy, we got a split room here.
You
You just told it, you just said Sharon's quiet. You said
Said
Ed?
it, yeah.
How many Ed?
More about.
Come on.
You're right.
minus the
No. The comparable is worse. It doesn't have the extra bath. So if it did have the extra bath, it would have sold for more, so we have to add it to its sales price.
Mm-hmm.
If it had the extra half a bath, it would have been worth 3,000 more, so we have to add it.
What about the, quality part?
We're not there yet.
Oh.
We're doing line by line now, okay? So we're adding, if this house had an extra half a bath like the subject does, we have to increase its price by $3,000, okay?
Use a little plus, right?
No, you don't need a plus.
You just raise
You
rate.
only need minuses here, by the way, guys, okay? Plus is given, minus is when you do wanna do the minus, you have to put it in, okay? They're all gonna be bi-levels. Oh, there's a good one. That's another subject right here. So, we search for bi-levels, so all of our comps are bi-levels, so we don't have, sometimes you might have a style adjustment. I've seen appraisers do it, which has kind of gotten me crazy. I had an incredible ranch home, and they compared it to a colonial, and they took $35,000 off of the style, because they didn't think it was nice, it was as nice as a colonial, and I'm like, who are you to determine? People love ranches, all right, 35,000 they took off the style, which I've never seen happen before, and it really made me mad. I disputed the whole report. But see, this is what you can do now. Once you learn this, you can get these appraisals and you can dispute them. All right, you tell your buyer or whoever's buying the house, if it didn't appraise or whatever, or the seller, whatever, I want to see the report. All right, and you'll know your numbers and you can dispute it. Okay, I've seen some crazy stuff on them. So, just to bring up another, yeah, there is a difference. Maggie, what's the difference?
I forget, don't ask me.
I don't know that. What is that?
What do you
Bi-level
think?
raised
Bi-level
ranch.
is
You will
above
see
ranch?
people put it in both categories all the time.
It's the same thing.
It is not the same
It's not
thing.
No.
No, and that's what they do. They call it a bi-level or raised ranch. That house that we're looking at, it is no question about it, it is a bi-level, it is not a raised ranch.
They're confused.
Okay?
Raised ranch is part of its underground, is that correct?
Doesn't have to be.
Oh, interesting.
So what's the
Okay,
difference?
the biggest difference, out of the ground. Yeah, so the biggest bi-level is, you go up like 5 stairs to get in the front door, right? All right, and you come to a landing and you either go up or you go down. That's the only thing you can do. That is a bi-level high ranch, all right? We call it bi-level here, right?
Yeah, we call it.
Yeah, they call it high ranch. It's high ranch and bi-level, but our system does bi-level, okay? A bi-level and a high ranch are one and the same exact thing. You'll come into some things that are Mayfairs as well, but it's not a category that we have here. It's a bi-level, all right? It's just a more jazzed up one. It's got columns out front, and when you walk up the 5 stairs and you go in, you go straight up or you go to the side down, all right?
Okay.
And it's wider. It's typically a wider entry. They're just they're a bi-level on steroids. All right, but it's the same thing. Landing up, down. Okay, that's it. A raised ranch is literally a ranch that has a full basement, but the whole thing is out of the ground.
Oh.
Okay, the basement is out of the ground. They're all over on Hunter in those areas behind the West Side Firehouse. There's a whole bunch of them there. And you have to walk up a full flight of stairs to get to the front door. You walk up 13 steps to get to the front door. And then your living space is all on that level. It's all your bedrooms, your kitchen, your living room, dining room, everything's there. And you take a flight 13 steps down to go to the basement in the garage. But it's out of the ground.
So those are rare compared to bi-levels.
Yes, bi-levels are a dime a dozen. Raised ranches you don't see a lot of. You don't.
Are shoppers?
Think of it,
generally
raised ranch. It was a ranch that was raised.
Yeah.
All right, there's no split at all. You walk up a full flight of stairs. People confuse it all the time. I would not put raised ranch here. This house is not a raised ranch. It is a bi-level. All right, so be careful when you are searching. All right, because you could even search for raised ranches, and there might be other ones that are in here that we missed because someone put it as a raised ranch instead of a bi-level. We could be missing sales because they weren't tagged correctly as the style.
Can you count on realtors entering it according to what you just said? Or
No, no, that's a problem.
Okay.
That's right.
Well,
Ben, I might be missing some right now
Yeah.
because I searched for bi-level.
That's
I
what I'm
probably
saying.
should have searched for raised ranches too,
So-
because maybe an agent put a 1 or 2 in as a raised ranch and it really wasn't, and now I'm missing that comp.
So that's my question, like at what point do you draw a line and say you can't search, I mean, everything can be.
Well,
searched
but
like
this is the only one. This is
Okay.
the only one that has that
This is very like that.
raised ranch
Got
and
it.
bi-level. You know, everything else is straightforward. Your
Okay,
split
thank
levels,
you.
your capes, your all that. All right.
Colonials,
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay. And I think there's is there a colonial cape search or no? I don't think there
There's
is.
not a colonial case.
Yeah, there's no colonial cape search. Yeah.
But you'll see, did you ever see a bilonial?
Oh, yeah, I've been in
Really?
a
People put that in?
bilonial.
That's awesome.
Is that made up?
Oh, no.
That's real?
It's a bilonial. It's a bilonial. There's
That's
a
crazy.
handful of them out there. And it's
It's kind of crazy.
it's a bilonial. It's the same thing where you walk into the middle and you go up or you go down, but they put all the bedrooms upstairs, so colonial has all the bedrooms
Yeah.
upstairs, so it's a bilonial because it's the 2 split stairs with the living room, dining room, kitchen, family room on the bottom floor, and then upstairs on the top floor is all the bedrooms. Bilonial.
Rare.
Very strange.
Yeah, Orangetown, leaves Orangetown.
Yeah.
And then, oh guys, then we have the split and the splash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thought I.
Split and splanches, okay? Again, just a different way of, they had to split in the late 50s and they had to try to do something different, so they tried to splanch. And you definitely need to, if you're comping these, you wanna get other splanches, cause there's not a lot of splanches and some people don't like them, all right? I'm a split level. You can walk in, split levels are typically 3 levels. Bing, bang, boom. Bedrooms are all upstairs, living room, dining room, kitchen are on the middle level, and then typically family room is down here on the lower level. Now, you can either, with a split, you can either walk into the lower level, and that's the family room area, and then you go up to the living room, dining room, kitchen, and then up to the bedrooms, or you can walk up a few stairs to the split from the outside, and then you're on the living room, dining room, kitchen level, and you go up to the bedrooms or down to the family room. So it has splits can have 2 different entries, either straight into the bottom floor where the family room is and then up to, or straight into the middle floor and then you're just going up and down. That's a split. Splanch. Splanch. Splanch, you always walk into the bottom floor. But the bottom floor is living room, dining room, kitchen, family room, if it's a big one. Sometimes it can just be family room, kitchen, all right? So you're walking in on the bottom floor to, let's just say, at least a family room and a kitchen, if not a dining room. Okay? Now you go up the 5 stairs, and that whole second floor is a living room.
Oh, okay. That's what
It's a living room. It's a living room.
That's called a splanch, not a split.
Yep, that's a splanch. Splanch. And then you go up to 5 bedrooms. Okay? But the living room is sitting out in the middle of nowhere. No one uses it. You typically don't have a dining room unless it's a big splanch. So they split then the living room up because it's so big. They put the dining room on the one side, the living room on the other, but now you're far away from the kitchen, you're running up and down the stairs.
Is that because of extensions, or do people build
Nope,
them
nope,
originally?
because they wanted to jazz up a split level.
Wow.
You don't see a lot of them. They were done at a certain period of time in the early 60s to late 60s, and it stopped. Okay? But there's some big splanches where you have, like I said, you have a dining room, kitchen, family room, bathroom on the bottom level, and then this big living room. And the bigger ones have 4 bedrooms upstairs, not 3. A typical split has 3. Splanches a lot of times will be bigger and have 4. But they can be a style that maybe some people don't like because I know one person's house I sold, he had a whole playroom up there. The living room was a pool table, pinball machines. I'm like, now this is good use of this thing. You know, because you just kind of like run by it to get up to the bedrooms.
So it's not, you shouldn't assume that it's not as popular as splanch.
It depends. It depends, but it's. What do you say to that, Maggie?
On your buyer, it's all.
It depends on your buyer, but if you're doing a CMA, I would try to get other styles like that. Okay.
Because sometimes too, when, because sometimes too, when they're looking at pictures, oh, I love this, look how big this is, you're looking at splash.
And then look at the layout, when it becomes.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people, they think it's great, and then when they're actually living in it, they're like, oh my God, I don't even use this room.
And when they go in to see it, they're like, oh no, I don't like this, because they don't like actually, the pictures don't always tell where exactly everything is.
Really?
No. People said, like, it's just funny when you're looking, they'll say, oh, this, the pictures, this doesn't look as good as the pictures did.
All
I
the
said,
time.
our job is to bring you into
All
the
the time.
pictures,
Yep, yep. New Jersey, they don't even put, we're allowed, what, 30 pictures? 30? 30 or 35, 36, whatever it is. New Jersey, they're like all against it. They only put like 10, 15 pictures in. They don't want to show the whole house. They want to get that appointment.
Has it always been that way, or is that to fight things like Zillow and online shopping a lot?
Has what always been that way?
That limit, is that a new limit?
No, they increased the limit actually.
You
Yeah.
can add more photos now.
Now we can add more photos than we ever did before.
30, now it's
But
36.
there are different parts of the country believe different ways. They're like, you know what, no, I'm not gonna show off the whole house. I'll only give them a little bit, tweak their interest and
Sure.
make them call instead of me showing them the whole thing. And that's kind of not a bad idea.
Well, it's an effective way to fight things like Zillow, that's why I was thinking maybe they did it that way.
How does it fight
Kind of, right,
Zillow?
the less you can see online, the more you have to
Oh,
go
Zillow
in
pulls all of
person.
our stuff.
I guess, yeah, they
Zillow's
have
got
more
everything.
demo.
Everything that we have, Zillow has. They just take our listing.
But I'm saying the less you can do online, fundamentally speaking, the less you can do online, as you can see online, and where you have to go in person and actually be there, so the longer.
Yeah, I know, but the problem with Zillow is they're not calling you, cause your name's all the way at the bottom of the listing,
Well.
they're calling the premier agents that pay every month.
Yeah.
That's how Zillow makes their money.
Yeah, sure.
Hate them, hate them, hate them. And they don't
And they're
pull,
not
and they don't pull the information over properly either.
Oh, taxes are outrageous.
So, they make up the taxes, it's right on our thing, they pull in a different number. I don't get it. Sure. Okay. Alright, so the next thing that's gonna be different, here we just went over the style. We're all South Orangetown schools because that's the way we put it in our search criteria, so this is all gonna be the same. I don't care about the room count either, guys. Remember, we talked about square footage. However you cut it up, that's fine, alright? Room count does not include bathrooms, it's rooms. Okay, not bathrooms. Year built, I don't care about the year built either, okay? A house built in 1965 could look a lot nicer than one that was built in 2005, depending upon the way it was kept, okay? And it could have everything brand new, you know, roof, windows, everything. So I don't care about its age. Now, first thing we're going to be adjusting for, the second thing, excuse me, is gonna be the square footage. So our house is 1,800 and this one's 1,693. So we're gonna compute the difference between the 18 and the 1,693. 107,
107.
right? So we're gonna take that 107 square foot difference and we're gonna times it by 50.
Oh,
Cheat sheet, cheat sheet.
it's giving, oh, so I
Cheat
don't
sheet.
look at that square foot per price?
No, 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 no. Okay, so the difference between, it's 107 times 50,
Yeah.
all right?
5350?
How much?
5350.
5350 is gonna be the adjustment.
Yes.
Are we going to add it or minus it?
No, edit, add it,
Everybody in agreement with adding?
yes.
Good job. All right, because again, the house is smaller, and if it was bigger, it would have increased by that amount of money. All right, price would have gone up because for that amount. Yes.
Two questions, so there's no purpose to knowing why they put the square foot / price on
No,
that?
no, the computer, when a house closes,
Right,
it automatically spits out then what the square footage per price is.
but it's not relevant.
Not relevant to this at all,
And
no.
why is age of the house not a
Because
critical piece of information? Like for-
it's not, all right? Like I said, this house could be built in 1965 and your comparable is built in 2005. But your house built in 1965 has everything brand new in it, and the house in 2005, everything is 12 and 15 years old.
So that would
Nothing's
go
been
under
improved.
condition then, that would
Yeah.
be like, okay.
Yeah, so we're not gonna worry about age of the house, okay? All right, so now we go down to property size, 0.28 and 0.35. So we're 0.07 of an acre difference, right? Now, this time, the comparable is actually better, all right? So it's gonna be a minus, right? So we're gonna take the 0.07 and we're gonna times that by what? 44,000. 44,000 is an acre,
Where's your, oh, up top, where is it?
okay? I don't know, it's there. So what's 0.07 times 44,000?
3080,
2008.
minus 3080.
38.
Okay, here we go. All right, and you notice when we do a minus, it goes in parentheses?
Oh, so wait.
The end, right?
It does it automatically. We put in the minus sign, and when we hit enter, the system puts the parentheses in. It used to be so great, and I don't know why they took it away. When you used to print this, all your minuses used to come up in red. I don't know why they took that away. I loved all the minuses being in red when I printed the report out. It jumped right out saying, well, this, you know, and they stopped. I don't know why.
I think they moved to common, this is, parentheses are the common accounting practice, and they probably just adopted.
I know, it was just so nice to see
No,
it
it's
in
nicer in
red.
red, yeah, I agree.
So give it to me in red in parentheses.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we don't care about the taxes, okay, you see estimated annual taxes, I don't care what they are. They both have central air, and then here it says basement, I put in slab, they're saying finished walkout. This is not a finished walkout basement, it's a bi-level. Okay, it's not a basement. All right, again, this is an error in entry. This is a raised ranch with a finished walkout basement. No, it's not.
That's on the level. People assume it's a big-
It's a bi-level and it doesn't have a basement. It's on a slab.
And just from the
Alright, but-
photos, you can tell that. You're just looking
Yeah,
at
I know
photos.
it just from the picture of the house. Bi-levels don't have basements, they're on slab. That's why I said, try to use the same terminology that we put when we load the listing in, but this agent, I wanna look up who this is. Now, it's just pissing me off. So again, but if this did have a basement, let's just say we've got a colonial, and the colonial has no basement, all right, and the other one has a full finished walkout basement. We're gonna make some nice adjustment there, okay? We typically, just for having a basement, that's $10,000 extra right there, all right? Now, if it's finished, depending upon how well it's finished and how big it is, it could be an extra 5, 10, 15,000 more. That basement could end up being like $25,000 perk compared to the colonial that didn't have the basement.
Depends what's in the basement, is that what you're saying?
10,000 right off the top if it has a basement
has a
compared,
kitchen, let's say.
unfinished.
Let's say
Unfinished, 10,000 is an easy adjustment, you'll see it on there, for a house that has a basement compared to one that doesn't. Now, if it's finished, all right, now you can even add more money. It's not just the flat 10, you can add in for the finishing too. Now, if it's finished in the old brown paneling with a crappy indoor-outdoor rug that's, 20 years old, we're not giving it a lot for that finished portion of it, all right?
What if
But if it's really, really nice, I mean, you see some of these houses, the basements are phenomenal, you can give them 15, 20, for that finished part in addition to it being having a basement compared to one that doesn't. Or, let's just say houses to houses. Colonials, whatever they are, Cape Cods, they both have basements, one has a finished basement, one doesn't. Now, you take out the 10,000 because they both have basements, now you're only adding in the finishing portion of it. All right, so how well is it finished? Is it an old finished basement, I'm only gonna give it 5, or am I gonna get it 15 because it's a really nice finished basement? Rule of thumb, when we get into this condition stuff, is you're only gonna get half of what it actually cost. So, you put in a brand new kitchen for $40,000, I can only give you a $20,000 adjustment. It's like taking a car off a car lot. You're not gonna get, in your adjustments, you are not gonna get the full price of what it actually costs you to do it. You put a new roof on the house for 15, 75. You put a new bathroom in for 10, 5. When we start lumping together condition, house by house. If both houses have brand new bathrooms, there's nothing. But if this one had a new roof and new windows and new bathrooms, but this one only had new bathrooms, well, now we're adjusting for the roof and the windows. Half of what it would actually kind of cost. This is learned, guys. This is stuff you just gotta get an estimate in your head and say, gee, how much would it cost to do something like that? And then this is guesswork here. All right, but I know a lot of sellers, I paid $40,000, you're not getting 40.
It's also helpful when they want to redo something before they put it on the market,
Mhm.
they're not gonna get the full.
You're not gonna
Might
get the full amount.
send
No,
it.
yeah, you're not gonna get the, but your house is gonna sell quicker. You might break even. You might break even. All right, you're not gonna make money, but your house is gonna sell quicker. They'll pick you over someone else because you have those improvements. So, and sometimes things just need to get done, and they have to put the money into it if they have the money to do it. That's why I always tell people, if you're gonna do an improvement on your house, do it now so you can enjoy it. Before you go, don't just do it to sell it. I did it and it hurt. So here again, finished walkout basement. I'm not making any adjustment here, guys, because it's not a finished walkout basement. Okay? If it was, we would be. All right. Down here, they both have. I don't care what it's baseboard, and they're both baseboard hydro air. Not quite sure what that is. We've got a good one here. I can't wait to see the list of this. And then they both have 1-car garages, so we're not making an adjustment for that. And then we go down here to our own separate fields. They both have municipal sewer, municipal water, and now we go into mine. So as you can see at the bottom, the notes get pulled right away for you. Location, blah, 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 blah. All right, many updates. So this is the time when I go to updates. This is the time now that I go back to the actual house. So this is Johnson Lane. And I go to Johnson Lane and I click on it. I make the pictures bigger and I look at the house. Okay? Because as you know, what was in those remarks is not necessarily what you're looking at. Okay? So we've got colors here that are from, the late 90s, early 2000s, that deep rose. We got yellow. We do have an updated kitchen, looks really nice, looks like granite. Nice backsplash, nice garden window in the kitchen. Make note, stainless steel appliances. These are all things you're like making notes of. New vanity, new bathroom. This all looks pretty good. Keep this, you just go through. Deck. Again, it didn't pull, we have to add that into the deck thing in case our subject property didn't have one. Looks like
nice
there's a
deck.
pool.
Nice
Yep,
deck.
in-ground pool.
And that looks like a nice deck, that's the
Okay, nice deck, nice pool, beautiful stonework there.
Wow.
Very, very nice.
Decent pool.
Okay, so this is the downstairs now, the family room, the kids' bedroom downstairs, the fourth bedroom, which is typical. That bathroom looks pretty good. Did they really take pictures of the washer dryer? Yeah, they did.
State of the art.
Okay, so one thing you have to look for here, we did the pictures, but please take a look at fireplace also, because remember I told you that's one field that they don't pull, and that's why I have it in my extras. I don't know why. It's a field. It pulls in central air. Why doesn't it pull in fireplace? All right. So it doesn't have a fireplace. Neither does ours. Well, let's make up ours does. Actually, let's go back to here. If I go back to subject, no, I just know because it's not a field. Okay. So we'll go back to adjustments. Like I said, you can just why did it go to Dello? It does these really weird things. I don't know how it pulls out what it puts first, second,
Oh,
third,
yeah,
and
the house
fourth.
is different.
Yeah, it's at the last one.
Is
So
this
this is the
Central?
one that we were working on, all right? So let's just say our house has a fireplace and the comparable does not. What do we do?
Yeah, 5,000.
Thank you. Okay. Updates. Young kitchen with granite countertops, stainless steel fridge, dining area with French doors, Trex deck. Sorry, I'm not used to this thing. Many updates since 2004. Okay? So, right away we know here, we both have decks. Alright, but my deck is old, that deck was pretty nice, right? Alright, plus it had a beautiful patio, we're lumping now, around the pool. Okay, so we both have decks, but mine's crappy and old. This one's really nice and it's Trex. And we also have a beautiful patio around the pool. So we have to add for that, all right? And this is where you're just gonna kinda make it up. You could add, let's just say 8,000 for that because of the upgraded deck and
Well, what
because
about
of the
the pool?
patio. Separate line.
Oh, thank you.
Add or
Okay.
take away? Take away.
Yeah, take away,
Oops.
because the comp has it and you don't.
Right, right. Okay. I took the in-ground pool actually out because we changed it to, sold at price adjustment. I took it out of my
Oh, so
remember?
we're gonna
But
lump things into
if
there.
we knew we had, I'm not gonna do it now because it just
Yeah.
will waste time. But typically this one would be, if I had houses with in-ground pools,
Okay.
in the ones that I'm using as comparables, then I would have that in-ground pool there and I would make an adjustment. You can make an adjustment for an in-ground pool depending again how nice it is. Okay, it could be $10,000 to $20,000. And then if you have really nice landscaping and stuff like that around, you can increase that too. But guys, again, not full price of what it is, like half. Okay, they're not gonna give you, banks typically doesn't give you more than $20,000 per pool. And I've had people spend, $150,000 in their backyard, all right? And I will add more because of landscaping and things like that, but the pool itself is typically about 20.
So what would you say in this particular instance?
That one?
Yeah.
That one, I already did the patio area, so it's really just the pool, so I'd probably do about 15 for that.
Oh, mine is 50.
All right, and you know what, I'll put it in here anyway, just so we get the numbers. Sorry, I apologize for the phone. Yeah, so let's pretend that was the pool line, okay, guys? And then here again, updates. It depends upon item by item now, all right? So they had the newer kitchen, they had the newer bathrooms, okay?
This is from the photos, this is the.
Yes, and from the description, but never go by just the description.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to look at the photos because they lie. I had one like a year ago, she put brand new furnace. The furnace was 20 years old. They just had it serviced. Now, we're not taking a picture of the furnace, I don't know if she's lying or not, but I knew I was in the house, I had the offer on, I'm like, that's not a new furnace. Okay, but it was in there as a new furnace, and the bad thing about this is that this is what the appraisers read, okay? They haven't been in any of these homes, they're only valuing, when your house is being appraised, they're only looking at the one that they physically got in to get the number on. They're going by what the realtors wrote and what the realtors took pictures of. So, that house that had a 20-year-old furnace, that lady put in there that it was a brand new furnace, they use that as a brand new furnace. Not that that's a big item, but still.
Is there any way at the end of the day to have accountability in all
No,
this? I mean,
no,
it's just,
none.
this is what it is.
None. Not good. All right. So if we can put updates in here again. This house, let's just say it was, my house was actually better. You know, I had a new roof, new windows. I had the new kitchen. I had the new bathrooms, whatever. So I'm going to put an extra $14,000 on. Okay, that would be minus though. Now I'm getting
Because
myself
septic probably had it and the other didn't. The comp did not.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put like 14 because mine has more, so it would sell for more. Okay, because mine has more updates than the house that I'm looking at, so we're adding that to the price. So as we do this continually, all right, you'll always see the number at the bottom changing. All right, as we're adding in those pluses and minusing, it will always change. Let's go to the one more, let's just do one more, we're gonna do another one. All right.
So.
Excuse me, this one on Johnson Lane, actually, this had a location, and, because it backed up to, I'm gonna take like 5,000 off for location.
So you would, like if it backed up to a railroad tracks, the
Oh,
parkway?
then it's even more,
the
yeah,
gas
then it's even more. This one just happens to back up to like the, one of those halls, it's like kind of like those Knights of Columbus things on Johnson, okay? And that isn't it, that's gonna be a value issue, okay? It doesn't have a house in its backyard, all right? But yeah, you're backing up to Palisades Parkway, you're backing up to anything that isn't another home, that's gonna have a locational adjustment.
What would you take off of the parkway?
For the Palisades?
Yeah.
Ooh, depends on how far back it is.
Okay.
I mean, do you go in the backyard and you hear zoom, zoom,
Yes.
zoom, 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 zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably take 20 grand off.
Wow. Okay.
That house is gonna be hard to sell. It's not gonna sell for one that that has a quiet backyard. It's just not.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of it.
And the way to spin it is to say, just like I said to my seller, would you buy it? If you could buy the house down there, or this one, would you pay the same amount for it?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of a house that's over in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and it does have about a block away, it's like an inset house, can't think of the name of the street,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe it's on Kings Highway, it is on Kings Highway. It's inset, it's a bi-level.
Oh, I know the one. It's on that little cul-de-sac.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's about a block away at the parkway, I'd say it's about a block, would you say that's about a block away?
Yeah,
depth,
because it's
that
cut
far?
in. Yeah, because it's cut in
Yeah.
there.
And would you make a negative on that? Absolutely.
It depends upon how much I hear and see.
Yeah, okay.
Gotta go out in the backyard. You don't really see it or hear it, but you know it's there. I mean, Palisades you usually hear.
Yeah.
But you know, then you have people coming up from the city that
That
they
don't
don't
hear
even hear it.
Right.
Okay? They don't hear it.
The subway.
You know? Yeah.
No, I was gonna say that's me,
Yeah, that they're like, what is it?
Yeah.
So, I'm just very protective of my buyers. Cause you know, when they go to sell,
Yeah.
You still have the same
and
issue.
now you go in and you do a CMA and you say, oh yeah, but you have the Palisades in back there. Well, why did you tell me that? That was gonna affect my value when you sold it to me. I tell my sellers, I tell them everything. All right, so let's go to another one just so you can see. So here's Fern Oval, okay? And let's go down. We don't care about, yours bathrooms are the same. 18, so we got 74 square feet. Let's just go through the exercise. 74 square foot difference, 74 times what is what? 74 times 50 is what? Anybody?
37.
Okay, so we're gonna add it, right, because it's worse? Oh, no, actually it's better.
It's bigger, minus.
Yeah, it's minus 37.50, okay?
Oh, 37.50.
And then this tiny little 0.01 of an acre, all right, we're gonna add 440, cause that's the difference of 0.01 times 24, okay? Here, they both have pull stairs with the attic, they both have central air, they're both slabs. Ooh, electric heat. What house is
I
this?
think that's.
Fern. That to me is a negative,
Yeah.
okay? Very rarely come across something like this actually, all right?
Whole house.
That, it's much more costly to run, okay? Even though you don't have the furnace and all that to take care of as maintenance, it's a hefty little bill. So I don't normally come across this, but I would probably make at least a $5,000 adjustment there, okay? So in that particular case, are we minusing it or adding it?
Minus.
Okay, we're taking money off the price of the house because it's a negative, right? All right, here, this has a 2-car garage, and we have a 1-car garage. So a garage is worth how much?
7,000 per car. 7 per car, right?
So we're plussing or minusing?
We're going to minus 7,000.
Right, we're taking it off, exactly.
Attached, detached matters or no?
No, not really, not really.
I like detached.
Yeah, well, some people don't. They don't wanna get wet, they don't
No,
wanna,
I get it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
appeals, but
Exactly,
overall it looks
okay?
better detached.
So, ready to sell yesterday, here we go, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, there's a great deal to be made, it says.
Of course there is. All right, so again, I go back, it has here, spacious 2-car garage, to name a few, all brand new, 718, 2,200 amp service. Selling electric heat to saves energy, no boiler. Furnace or gas to deal with, this is how they got away with that. That's so funny. All right, so again, I go back now, I know this is which house? This is the one on West Fern Oval. I go back to West Fern, I go to the comparables, I go to West Fern, I pick up the picture, I flip through for my own. This one has vinyl siding, okay, mine may not. Again, we're just looking at things that we compare it to.
This is a ranch. No.
Absolutely not.
This is not, it's a bi-level.
So look at how
Oof.
dated this house
Whoa.
is, exactly. But it's a steal because you don't have a boiler, you know.
And there is a great deal to be made, so let's get on it.
All right, it's got a somewhat updated kitchen with wallpaper, okay?
This is awesome.
That looks like wallpaper, lots of marks where the beds and furniture were, wall-to-wall carpeting, no deck, okay? It's got the sliders to the back, no deck off the second level, which typically in a bi-level you have a deck off the kitchen or the dining room, okay? So, yeah, this is a steal. $395 it got. Wow. So you go back to adjustments then. I just want to read the bottom. It was such a steal that it took 4 months to sell, to go into contract. And it originally started at $445 and went down to $409. And when it got at $409, it sold. Pricing is everything. Okay? Would have sold a lot quicker if it was priced that way to begin with. Okay? So go back to adjustments again. Like I said, you can keep jumping, and now we can, put whatever we want to do here. Let's just say updates. Ours is so much better. Let's say $30,000 at least.
Yeah.
Ours is better. I'm just making numbers up now. Okay, guys?
But it's a lot better, so.
It's a lot better.
Yeah.
And we have a fireplace, remember? So we're gonna we have a deck, we have a nice deck, so let's put 7,500 in there. And sold price adjustment, we don't have an under contract, so we don't have to worry about it. So again, the numbers at the bottom are moving again. If we go to the next one, this is what we just keep doing, and then I'm gonna knock 2 of them out, sorry, so I want you to see. We're just gonna do another one really, really fast, okay? Okay, this one has 3 full baths, and the subject has 2. What do we do?
3 full versus 2, so it's a,
6,000.
minus.
It's 6,000, are we minusing or plussing?
Minus 1.
Yeah.
Right, it's better. It's better than the subject, we minus it. All right, now here, the subject is better than the comparable. So we're gonna add 3,000, right? It's got a half a bath. So in effect, a 1.5 bath compared to a 2-bath house is a $3,000 adjustment. That's what it is, okay? here, here, here. We only have 4 square feet here, so it's only a $200 adjustment, right? And here, 4228, whatever that math is there, it's gonna be a minus, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the math is on that.
Let's see.
No, you have to go.
No, I'm just moving my computer.
61,
Sorry.
sorry.
61,
make it
so it's
minus.
minus 6160, there you go. All right, this is all the same, but now we don't have a garage,
You're
right? So we're adding
7,000.
7,000, right? Because it doesn't have a garage and ours does, okay?
What was over 7, the number right before that, 6160?
Oh, that's the property size.
Yeah, minus
Minus,
6160
yeah.
plus
Mhm.
7, right?
And we should be at
Yep.
468,040.
That's what we're at, okay? Location, there's no locational adjustment, multi-level, oversized covered deck. Again, I would go back now and I would look at the pictures and I'd flip through it, I'd compare it for the updates, okay? Location is the same, fireplace they didn't have, I'd add 5,000. It's multi-decks, whatever, I'm making stuff up now, guys, because I'm not gonna go through every single thing. So let's just say this one's maybe, 6,500 between patios and extra nicing decking than mine. Oh, it does have a fireplace. So I'm taking the fireplace out. Updated windows, whole house generator, you saw how I had the other thing with in-ground pool / generator? I would give them, probably about 3,000 to 4,000 for a generator. Those whole house generators generally cost about 10 to 12 grand, okay? And updates on this one, I'm gonna say it's, I'm gonna make up a number of minus 12,000, all right?
590.
Okay, anyway.
All right, and again, it adjusted the price at the bottom. Now, just for, we did Terry, hold on, which ones did we actually do? Single line. We did Johnson, Fern, and Terry, right? We didn't do Central and Dello. So I'm just gonna remove these because I want you to see something, okay, when we do the final report. We only got a chance to do the adjustments for those 3 properties, so I want you to see how this comes out at the end, okay?
Wait, can you go back to you're in comparables?
Yes, I am.
How did you get to that checklist?
Right
Where
here,
was that again?
right here, single line.
Oh.
Change it to single line. It was in full moon.
Yeah,
Change it to
thank you.
single line, okay?
And which one did we delete? Just so
I
know.
deleted,
Central and Dello?
yes,
Thank you.
okay?
you
And
went
then
back to-
adjustments are all there. Now we're gonna hit finish. Okay, and we're gonna view the CMA. Okay, if we had this is the report now, this is what you're gonna print out, okay? If we had a picture, the picture would show up. It says, prepared by me, this is the property address, and it's prepared exclusively for the seller. This is all pulled from your report. Every time that you open this back up, it's gonna change the date. It's always gonna say it was prepared on January 16th today. If you go to print it out in 3 days, it'll say January 19th. Whenever you open it up, it's gonna adjust that date. It's not gonna stay at the actual date in which you prepared it, okay? Just so you know. I don't know why, that's what it does. All right, it has all your information pulled. Now, this is the really, really important page, okay? These numbers here reflect the lowest, this is the comparable price of those properties that actually sold and their prices at which they sold at, okay? No adjustments being made. So the low comp that we had was $395, which was this one, right? The high comp that we had was $470, right? All right, and then it just did a median and average. So without any adjustments at all, based upon those 3 sales, the lowest one sold for $395, the highest one sold for $470, median and average, very large in between, very, very large spread in between here, right? Okay, actually a very large spread in between here and here as well. That's why we're doing these comparables, okay? Now, after we did the comparable, after we fed it in the adjustments, look what changed. The low went up to 422 from 395, the high went down to 464, and the median, the average, very nicely, very tight. Okay? So this is where you have to kind of make your determination. When you're sitting down with your seller, you have to explain it to them that this is what it was before I did my work, all right, after I put in the adjustments, to try to make your house as similar to the ones that have sold. Never going to be an exact match, but to compare apples to apples here and to include all your improvements and their improvements and what they did have or didn't have compared to yours. This is these are the numbers that are coming out here. Now, if it's a really, really, really nice house, you may be able to push it all the way up to this number, but if it's just a kind of, you know, average run-of-the-mill, you're probably going to sell somewhere in this range, which is a nice tight range. But if the house has any difficulty whatsoever, like the location is a little bit more, you know, a little bit more than that 10,000 or 20,000 that you could adjust for, you might be at the lower end of the spectrum. This is where your expertise is going to have to come in, okay? A lot of times when they see a close number like that, yeah, do they always want that? Absolutely. But that's where you bring your active listings in.